Welcome back to another episode of the Mom Founders Table. What is our biggest fear with slowing down or stepping back or doing things differently? It's that we'll fall behind, that we'll miss out, that we will fail. As ambitious, successful women, we prioritize achievement and accomplishment and checking boxes. And so the idea of pulling back in any sort of efforts that have previously gotten results that we wanted or allowed us or helped us to reach goals that we had is terrifying. But we're here, we are in week 3 of finding your identity outside of your business. And we know that to find our identity outside of our business, we are going to need something that we don't currently have. 2 things, actually. Number 1 is time. And number 2 is the emotional and mental capacity to actually change, to do things differently. So in the first week of this series, we talked all about getting back what you've sacrificed to build what you have. And last week, we talked about getting out of the business first mentality. So at this point, you have building blocks. You have an understanding of why you are the way that you are, why you think the way that you think, what has gotten you to where you are. The thing that we crave the most and feel most guilty about it as moms and entrepreneurs is our lack of presence, our inability to be in an experience and truly feel and enjoy it. For most of my clients, they're physically present with their families. It's not that they're never with them, but mentally they're still in work mode. They're still thinking about all the things that they have to do. And what happens is it's stealing your happiness, your joy, and your peace. It's numbing you. The distraction of busyness is numbing you from the full experience of life. So when you're like, okay, Kelsey, yes, I get it. Like, I'm thinking about work all the time. And I don't know who I am outside of my business. I know why I'm here. I've answered these journal prompts that you've given me. I've made discoveries, but I'm still afraid to take a step. I'm still afraid to create any sort of change or do things differently than I have previously done them. Because in the eyes of society, it has worked. You have financial abundance, but your life doesn't feel wealthy. And so then I would ask you, have you rewritten your definition of success? Have you really looked at what you were modeled by your parents, grandparents, caregivers, and the people that you spent a lot of time with as a child? Have you looked at what was modeled about work, about success? Because it's probably similar for a lot of us, which is why we're here. Work becomes who you are. But we've learned over the last couple of weeks that there's more to life. We know and have this internal, intuitive knowing that this richness is more than just money. I remember hearing a story from a client once about her putting her children to bed. And all she was thinking about, she was reading and then, putting them actually physically in bed. And she realized later on that she was not even in her body. She was like, I don't remember what book we read. I don't remember what the words were. I was so focused on getting her to bed so I could get back to work. I don't remember any of it. And for a lot of us, myself included, our lives become this blur where everything's blended together. And again, we ask the question of, what is it all for? And by no means am I telling you to put it all down. There will never be a part of me that doesn't recognize and validate the importance of women being wealthy and us making a lot of money with our businesses. It is important. What is also important is that you enjoy your life. So how do we become present without falling behind in our business? If you're worried that when you unplug, you're going to lose momentum or drop the ball, if you feel like you can't turn your brain off even when you're off, if you feel like you're split in half or pulled in too many different directions constantly, what I want you to know is that you don't have to choose between being a great CEO, running a successful business, or being a present mom. You just need better boundaries, not just with other people, but with yourself. Boundaries are about self-protection. Boundaries are how we enforce our values and our priorities. And the truth is that you will never have the data to support living a life that feels meaningful and fulfilling and feeling so full of pride from being fully in your life with your family. You don't want to regret never experiencing that. And you want to have the financial means to be able to experience all that our world has to offer. We need better boundaries, we need better structure, and we need to hold to our word. Structure, systems, support, boundaries, these are what create presence. It's the fear of setting a boundary that prevents you from setting it, that allows you to never gather that data that supports you being fully fulfilled in your life while also being wealthy, profitable, and purposeful in your business. Do you know that this is why this intertwining of the internal operations and the external business came about? I was recently interviewed on a podcast, and she asked me about the evolution in my journey and how I got to where I am now. And what I told her was, in my first few years of entrepreneurship, I quickly realized that we cannot give tactical guidance without also addressing the internal thought patterns, behaviors, and habits. When I was working as a fitness coach and advising all of these women on what to eat and how to move, they would not have gotten the results that they did if I was not also addressing the way that they were thinking, their communication with their partners, the careers they were in, the way that they were sleeping, their stress levels. This is why I want to draw the line for you so you can see that a lot of times we think that creating a different structure, doing things differently, is going to negatively affect. And so with that, again, we don't give ourselves the chance to actually see what happens. Until we have accountability, until we have somebody standing next to us and saying, I believe in you, you can do this. Remember what is important. Like when one of my clients took an entire month off, when another one of my clients took an entire 2 months off, that feels hard, heavy, scary. But when you make a commitment and you decide, I'm going to do things differently, I'm going to do things better, you will see that then your brain starts searching for solutions on how to make that happen. The guilt-free presence that you want is there when you trust your business can run without you for a moment, when you trust that you're going to succeed regardless of how quickly you answer an email. And presence isn't just for your family. It's not just about your kids. This is not just for, again, something outside of you. This is also for you. Being present in your life is fuel for your creativity, your joy, and this is where we find the greatest clarity. When you unplug from the day-to-day, when you step into a different environment, when you get a different set of eyes, when you change even one thing, you see things differently. So the way that we find presence is by doing the things that we're afraid to do. And the way that we do things that we're afraid to do is we ask someone to help us. Because right now, your brain is wired to tell you that in order to fulfill your financial wants and needs, your business needs to look this way, your leadership needs to look this way. That is all you know. That is the data that you have. So it's time for us to gather new data. On the other side of the discomfort that is change is what you actually want. And that is where the saying of choose your hard comes from. Continuously choosing the discomfort that you know, seeing these big months, hitting these big milestones, building this financial wealth, but feeling empty or feeling like your life is your business, that's not what you're doing it for. So there are things right now that you know that you need to change. There are things right now that you are actively avoiding. I want you to be honest about what those things are. Do you know that what causes people to fall behind in their businesses is two things? They either give up because they don't believe in themselves, or they burn out because they have nothing left to give. So I want you to think as we wrap up this series, because if you knew that looking at what your capacity actually is, evaluating the support that you have both in your business and in your home, looking at what you're saying yes to and what you need to say no to, going back to your value system and looking at what's misaligned, if you knew that doing that would spark a new commitment for change, and you made the choice of doing things differently while knowing that it would create more happiness, more richness of experience in life beyond the finances, wouldn't you make that choice? So I'm calling you into a big, bold choice today. I'm calling you into recognizing that you are the problem. And with that, you can change it. And also validating that change is hard and you don't want to because you're tired. I get it. And that's the exact reason why the mentality of I should be able to figure this out. Once I get to this place, then I'll change is keeping you exactly where you are. So if you want to be able to have presence without falling behind, I want you to evaluate the areas of your business that we've talked about today. I want you to evaluate your team. I want you to evaluate your day-to-day operations. I want you to evaluate your support. in your home. I want you to evaluate your calendar and your commitments. And if you keep coming up with the thoughts of, well, if I take this off, if I say no to this, then I'll fall behind, it's an opportunity to challenge that thought. When I remove what is no longer serving me, when I remove what is not aligned, there is greater possibility and opportunity. And I promise you, because I have been on both sides of this. And if you need somebody that can help walk you through this change, if you are in a position where you have the financial abundance, but life doesn't feel rich, we can change it. And what I want to remind you as we wrap up today is that you deserve this. You deserve to wake up in the morning and feel excited about your work, proud of yourself, and present in each moment of your life. The weight that is lifted emotionally and mentally when you're able to fully be where you are is life-changing. And I hope that one day you can feel that. And if you want me to help you get there, if you want me to help you advise on what needs to change both within you and your business to be able to experience that, if you want somebody that will hold you accountable to the highest and best version of yourself, we will drop my Clarity Call link in the show notes below. I'm really grateful to be able to talk through this identity series with you. I hope that you know the importance of yourself and your life and being able to fully experience what is here. Your time is your greatest asset, and we cannot get it back. So let's make sure that we are spending our time where we really want to. And if you want to talk and you just want somebody to listen, I'm here for that too. I know what it's like to feel like you're living in survival mode, but I promise you that you won't fall behind in your success because you've worked too hard to get where you are. I promise you that the longevity and the sustainability that's created when you make the right kind of changes is worth it. Thank you guys for being here, and we'll see you next week.